That's unthinkable to me. That you have an opportunity in your lifetime to be a professional, that you think about quitting. See, you don't quit it, and you don't quit in sports. You retire. You don't get to quit. It's not an option. See, someone told me that a long time ago. That ain't even an option. And the person told me that, he ain't here anymore. He died. This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Randall Handles Football Podcast. I am your host, Randall Tevis. So by now, we've probably all heard about the signing of Cam Newton to the New England Patriots. Wow, what a stunner, what a shocker, what a pleasant surprise on a nice, quiet Sunday afternoon. So I want to take some time today to talk about this signing and, what it is that I really think is going to happen with this signing of Cam Newton to the New England Patriots. So first off, I think if you're a Patriots fan, I think if you follow the New England Patriots, you have to be ecstatic about this move. Going into the season with Jarrett Stidham as your number one quarterback doesn't show fear, doesn't really scare any opponent, okay? If you bring in a quarterback like Cam Newton into the fold, okay, now we're finally talking. Now you're going to have to make defenses really worry about the dual threat capabilities of Cam Newton. If you remember, it was only 5 short years ago where Cam Newton was the league MVP as he threw for more than 30 touchdowns and ran for more than 10 touchdowns on the ground. Okay, so Cam Newton can still be a threat. He is literally only 31 years old, and with the rate at which quarterbacks play into their 40s nowadays, he still has 10 good seasons, right? He's maybe only halfway through his career. However, with that being said, he has been pretty banged up these past few seasons. Starting 2 seasons ago when he hurt his shoulder and missed half the season and had shoulder surgery at the end of the season. And then last season when he broke his foot and missed all of but 2 games last season. I think that those injuries are just a toll that his body has taken from all of the hits, all of the running that he has done in his career. So with that being said, I think the biggest question mark around this whole Cam Newton signing is, will he actually stay healthy enough to be the starter for the entire season? I think if he does stay healthy and he does play a full 16 games, even a full 14 games in a season, I think that this Patriots team can be really dangerous. I think that they can go into the playoffs and even make a push and go deep into the playoffs. Now, if you think back to, his days in Carolina, especially, his MVP season and before then, he didn't have a whole lot of help on the offensive side. They had Greg Olsen, and for the beginning of Cam Newton's career, they had Steve Smith and D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart in the backfield. But, those aren't, Pro Bowl, All-Pro names that I'm naming outside of Steve Smith, who may be a future Hall of Famer. So I think that, if the Patriots were able to surround Cam Newton with a little bit more talent on the receiving side, because, if you think back to last season, the Patriots' biggest flaw around with Tom Brady was he just didn't have anybody to throw it to. They traded for Mohamed Sanu. They had their first round pick, N'Keal Harry. But those aren't top flight receivers and tight ends that can really help and make this offense even better and help and just bringing that supporting cast around Cam Newton. I think if they had a few more pieces around Cam Newton, this may really be a Super Bowl contending move. However, with just Cam Newton, I think that is good for a 10-win season. Could be good for a 10-win season, but really to be a real Super Bowl contender, they're going to need more pieces on the offensive side. Cam Newton has been carrying the offenses like all his career. but I just don't see the same thing happening in New England, especially after coming off of his injuries and, in a new system and whatnot. So, I think this is going to be a playoff team, but not a Super Bowl team. And so that brings us to Cam Newton's actual contract. They say that he signed a 1-year deal that's very incentive laden. So what that means is he signed a 1-year deal that could be worth up to $7.5 million. This is very similar to the kind of deal that Ryan Tannehill signed last season with the Tennessee Titans when he took over for the starting job. I think it was in week 6, and never looked back from there, and ultimately led the Tennessee Titans to the AFC Championship game. He too was on a 1-year deal that was very incentive laden. So, Cam Newton gets a very similar deal. Like I said, it could be worth up to $7.5 million. I think he'll probably get that full amount if, number one, he starts so many games, throws so many passes. That's really what they're looking at, is he going to stay healthy? If he stays healthy, he's going to get his full amount. So, I think this is definitely a win-win move for both the Patriots and for Cam Newton. I think if you are Cam Newton, after getting released by the Panthers, you are looking for that bit of a resurgence, a bit of a confidence booster, if you will. And so he's going to get that in New England. And he's going to get some of the best coaches, and he's going to get the best coach in NFL history in Bill Belichick to coach him up a bit. And if you're Cam Newton, you have to be thrilled about this, playing for Belichick. And of course, from the Patriots side, it's a win-win. It's a win on their side because, hey, if Cam Newton returns to his former MVP self or even a Pro Bowl self, they got themselves a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. After going into the season with Jarrett Stidham as your starting quarterback. So ultimately, like I said, this is a win-win situation for both parties. I thought that, during free agency, I didn't think that Cam Newton was going to be a great fit in New England. I actually thought that Andy Dalton was going to be the quarterback that signed with New England. I thought that Andy Dalton could have been in here. He'd fit very well with the offensive scheme that Josh McDaniels calls in New England. Andy Dalton's very similar to Tom Brady in that they're both pocket passers. However, with Cam Newton, you're not just signing a quarterback. You're completely changing the offense that you've been running in New England for the past 2 decades with Tom Brady at the quarterback. Okay, Cam Newton is a very special player that takes a very particular offensive style. Okay, he's a heavy shotgun quarterback. I like to run the ball myself. Just snap the ball to me, and I'm going to do a quarterback draw or quarterback power. A lot of motions, a lot of play fakes to his running backs. Even in Carolina, they had a lot of 3-back sets, 2 running backs and a fullback. So, I think this does present a bit of a change and a bit of a challenge for the Patriots. Are they going to adjust their offensive system for Cam Newton? I think to get the most out of Cam Newton, that is what they have to do. Like I said, to get the most out of him and to be as successful as possible. So ultimately, I think everyone was looking forward to a few down years from New England. Finally, a changing of the guard. Finally, we can get something new. However, with this signing, this is just showing that the Patriots, Robert Kraft, Bill Belichick, they're not done. They're not satisfied. They still have a win now mentality. I think that Bill Belichick still has a lot to prove. This was supposed to be the big prove year. Oh, who made the team better? Was it Belichick or was it Brady? And so, I think that ultimately, especially if the Patriots do have a better season than the Buccaneers, I think this debate is ultimately going to shift to Bill Belichick, saying Bill Belichick is the reason why the Patriots were great, and Tom Brady was a product of Bill Belichick. So, I think all in all, this is a great move. I'm very happy for Cam Newton. Like I said from the very start, he was deserving. He's a great quarterback. Take away from his running ability, he can still throw the dang pigskin, right? He can throw it all over the field. He has a rocket arm. I always thought that he deserved to be a starting quarterback in this NFL. He's not a backup quarterback. I think that if it does take like a game or two, for him to learn the system or whatnot, and Jarrett Stidham starts the first game or two, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that may be what they ultimately do, just because I don't know how much time he's going to have to actually learn the system. Coming in what basically the end of June, beginning of July, training camp start in 1 month, and then preseason starts the next month after that. So, there's not going to be a whole lot of time for him to learn the Patriot way and to, get familiarized in New England. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Jarrett Stidham is still the week 1 quarterback, but then they ultimately will make that move and shift to Cam Newton, a few games into the season and let him, ride it out as a starting quarterback for the rest of the season. So all in all, like I said, I do like the move. I think that Cam Newton deserves this shot. He will get his shot. And I think, this is going to be a great move for the Patriots. So I just want to end this now with some highlights from Cam Newton's MVP season.
Superman on that play. Cam Newton with time. Bounce for the kick. And get the first down. Cam Newton has it. And he's going to keep it. No flip. Touchdown Panthers. Play clock winding down to get the play off. Newton steps up, goes to the end zone. Holds it. Touchdown. Continues to find ways to win football games. He just wants to beat you on the scoreboard. First down. Keeps it. Down the middle. Just another to that nose for Cam Newton. First and goal. Somebody says all his celebrations and he has so much fun, and my comment is, well, of course it's easy to have fun when you're one of the best players out there. Cam is going to walk for the first down and keep on going. Second and 9. End zone. Let's go. From number 1. Delayed blitz. Protected. Airs it deep. Out of time. Airing it. Inside the 20. And out of bounds inside the 5. Looking around, maybe wrong there. Can't wrap him up. He's still going. Fighting forward. He's still for first down. He's like a Mack truck. Unbelievable. And here comes touchdown, Carolina. End zone. Olsen. Leaping catch for the touchdown. You think Cam Newton hasn't changed his game? How about that throw to Greg Olsen? The ball is just put in a perfect place. For the touchdown. Fearless when it comes to running the football and doing whatever he has to do to put his team in a position to win a game. There is nobody like him.
Gosh, I really love a good highlight reel for a terrific player. So, as you can see, Cam Newton can still really sling the ball. It's not all about his running ability. He can still throw the ball. And so, like I said, I am just really excited that Cam Newton is in the NFL. He is back. He will be a starting quarterback. He's an exciting player. So tell me what you guys think. Are you excited for Cam Newton to be with the Patriots? Do you see big things coming from the Patriots this season? Do you think that he should even be deserved a starting quarterback shot? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And again, this is all about the signing of Cam Newton. Until next time, this is the Randall Handles Football Podcast.
I don't care who you play, whether it's a high school team, a junior college team, a college team, much less an NFL team. When you turn the ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, 3 others in field position to set up touchdowns, you ain't gonna beat anybody I just talked about. Anybody. All right? And that was a disgraceful performance, in my opinion. We threw that game. We gave it away by doing that. We gave them the friggin' game. In my opinion, that sucked. What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.